Welcome back, everybody, to the Even Your Dynasty show.
We just got breaking news in.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Even Your Dynasty show. We are back with our June 3rd minor league update. We're going to talk about how all the top prospects did down in the system. Big news yesterday, the Dominican Summer League kicked off, so our top international signee, Joshua Gonzalez, had his first game, went 3 for 4 with a double. So, we're not going to be going into the DSL today, obviously, but in future videos, that will be added there. We're going to cover top to bottom, AAA, AA, high A, and A ball this week, as we always do, as well as the complex league. And then I'm also planning another video for this week that is going to be which players that I want to see promoted. It's either going to be a player from each level or top 5 players that I want to see in the system, and I'll probably slap some honorable mentions in there. So look for that a little bit later this week. We are going to also be doing our live show on Thursday, so keep your eye out. We are going to kick it off with San Jose today. I'm going to go reverse order. Complex League will still be at the bottom, but we're going to go reverse order. We're going to start it off with San Jose. Frankly, they're the most exciting team in the system. I don't even think it's particularly close. Their offense is pretty explosive, lots of talent, lots of really toolsy players, exciting players. They run a lot. They steal bags. They hit homers. They have some nice pitching down there. It's a really exciting, lots of talent in the system, especially in the lower levels. So we're going to kick it off with them, who went 5-1 versus Inland Empire. They're now 30-21 on the season. Starting off with number 6 prospect, Dakota Jordan. He went 11 for 25 with a home run, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, and 3 stolen bases. The walk to strikeout ratio down there has been really encouraging. The fact that he actually has a strikeout rate pretty under control right now, under 25%. Super encouraging. This is an extremely raw player at the time they drafted him. He's been, I think, better than advertised. The only thing that I think a lot of people might be slightly disappointed with is the power output, but you can just see with his game, there's a focus right now of putting the ball in play, making good swing decisions, using the middle of the field, and focusing on that and using his speed. As a guy that puts the ball in play a ton and uses his wide receiver speed, because he was a wide receiver, recruited to college, that's a guy that can be incredibly dangerous, and his floor would be incredibly high. And then once he figures out pitching a little bit, where he can pick and choose his spots to let that 80 grade raw power show, you're talking about a guy that has superstar potential. So that's kind of what I'm seeing so far. He's been off the charts. He has 18 stolen bases this season. Just an incredibly fun watch of a player. Number 20 prospect, Robert Hipwell, 2 for 10, a double, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts. Another guy where the walk to strikeout ratio, really encouraging. He's been really solid for, obviously the average wasn't great last week, but he's been really solid now for about the last month. He's really turned his season around. Number 25 prospect, Jacob Bresnahan, 4 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 3 hits, a walk, 4 strikeouts, 64 pitches, 41 for strikes. Pretty much ever since I came out here and said he's got to do something because I just don't see it, he's been pretty good since then. End of last season, early this season, lots of struggles, especially with command. I've always kind of said the stuff is explosive. He's only 19 years old. So, obviously the potential's there, but I mean, the command was so spotty that it was really tough to see any kind of future as a potential starter with him. It was a guy that, maybe they'd have to shove him in the pen, and that might still be the path that ultimately he ends up on down the road. But he's been showing a lot more potential, especially the last 5 starts or so. Number 29 prospect, Lisbel Diaz. He went 3 for 20 with 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, and a stolen base, as well as a home run. It was only his 3rd home run of the year. I'd love to see the power show a little more. It showed quite a bit more last season than it has early on this season. He's been in a bit of a funk, though, for the last 3 or so weeks. Hopefully we see him come out of it, because he's another one of those, really exciting toolsy prospects. Jacob Christian, he went 6 for 18, a home run, a double, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts, a stolen base. He had a 5 RBI game. He is like fifth, I think, in all of the minor leagues in RBIs this season. Continues to just be a machine in that regard. To me, get him up to Eugene. He's been really good. He's showing he doesn't really need to be an A-ball, in my opinion. He's going to have some swing and miss and some strikeouts. I'm not that concerned. He's 6'5". The big guy, just like Bryce, they're going to strike out some. It's what happens when you have a bigger zone and more zone to cover. But huge power. To me, for my money, best right-handed power swing in the Giants system. Walker Martin, he went 4 for 23, a home run, 2 doubles, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. He had back-to-back 2-hit games to start the week. Looked like he was on his way to another just great week at the plate, and then went 0 for the rest of the week. Had a really rough time, lots of strikeouts. He's very raw. It's going to take time. I'm just kind of monitoring as the year goes. I think he is likely going to spend the whole year in San Jose. Is that maybe disappointing for a guy that got drafted, 2 years ago? Perhaps, but I do think it's going to be kind of in his best interest. Guys like him and Dakota Jordan, building a good foundation in A-ball so that they don't just get exposed in the upper levels with how raw of prospects they are. I don't think that's a bad thing, even though, in Jordan's case, I'm usually anti-college players sticking around in the lower levels for super long. Walker Martin, although he was an older high school prospect, he was still a high school prospect. So let him marinate down there, and then he'll probably start the year in Eugene next season. Xander Darby, he went 4 for 13, a home run, 2 doubles, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Love the bat to ball skills, love the power. Potentially he's kind of shown it a little bit. Hit a big grand slam in that series. All in all, he's kind of a unheralded guy. Obviously, I always have a little bit of biases. He was awesome for us, gave us a great interview, but not a guy that was necessarily like highly looked at coming out of that draft. But you've just the last year, well, not full season, but end of last season when he first came over, as well as the early part of this year when he's been healthy, he just hits. He said he figured out something with his swing where he might be able to utilize his power a little better. I think we're seeing that. A couple of home runs early on for him this year. Lots of doubles, especially. He's hitting for a high average. A college guy that I think we could see end up in Eugene by the end of the year. He's been pretty impressive. Greg Ferrone, 4 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 1 hit, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, 81 pitches, 48 for strikes. He did right the ship, obviously, as far as, no earned runs, which was nice. The walks, still concerning. The command as a whole was a bit concerning. Overall, he's been really good in San Jose. I thought he was a guy that might push his way out pretty quickly. College arm, throwing the ball really well in the lower levels, but has cooled off a little bit. Hopefully he can get going again. Nico Mazza, 4 innings pitched, an earned run, 3 hits, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, 80 pitches, 40 for strikes. I'm never going to, even though it was only 1 earned run, I'm not really ever going to say a starter that threw 50% strikes had a great outing. That's a bit rough on the command side for me, but overall this season he has been really impressive. Hopefully he can keep that up, and he's another guy that could potentially force his way up relatively quickly. He's got like a sub 2 ERA this season. Carlos Gutierrez, who's, with all the attention we've given to all sorts of different players in San Jose, guys like Dakota Jordan, Jacob Christian, Walker Martin, Carlos Gutierrez might be the best, or be having the best season of the bunch. I don't think he has the highest potential, but as far as the season he's having, he's hitting over 350 right now in San Jose. He went 7 for 20, a home run, a triple, a double, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts, 2 stolen bases. He can hit, he can fly, he plays great defense. Maybe his power is a little bit limited. He put a couple impressive charges into a few swings this past week, but all in all, a lot this season. It's been a lot of singles, but then he also steals a bunch of bags. So, when you can turn singles into doubles, who cares? He's having a great year. Yeah, he's 20 years old in A-ball. He's probably going to force his way up relatively quickly. It's his first year of actually being like fully healthy, and he's showing quite a dominance of that level. Maui Ahuna, he made his debut in San Jose this week for this season. Obviously, he played there last year a lot. 4 for 15, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, 3 stolen bases. Love the speed, love the glove. Hit tool leaves a bit to be desired. That he's got some power potential. One of those guys that if he puts it together with the bat, like he absolutely has a major league glove. A lot of people view his glove similarly to what how they viewed Crawford. They think he has elite potential. I'd agree with that. I think the glove is a special glove at shortstop, but the bat is a definite work in progress. So we'll kind of monitor that and see how that goes. Before I move over to High A Eugene, if you guys do enjoy the content, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. It means a ton for growth. You guys have been awesome. We're going to do another giveaway at 1750 subscribers. So we're about 50 away. We just did a giveaway on the last live show. So, if you guys want to get involved and you want to get that going, definitely smash that subscribe button. We really appreciate you guys. Love all the support you give. It's great being able to do this for everybody. Moving over to High A Eugene, they went 3-3 versus Tri-Cities. They're now 26-25 on the season. Number 4 prospect, James Tibbs III, had his second straight 3-homer week. The guy is inevitable right now. It's all he's doing is just hitting dingers. It's been fun to watch. He went 5 for 17, 3 home runs, 6 walks, 4 strikeouts. For a guy that was being left for dead by so many Giants fans, and I'm not going to sit here and play, I told you so, but I constantly harp on when a guy has elite plate discipline and he's hitting the ball hard, at some point it's going to go right for him. And he had more walks than strikeouts, and he was hitting the ball hard, and the average wasn't showing. The numbers weren't backing it. But, sometimes when you're watching them, your eyes are telling you this guy is way better than what the numbers are showing right now. And it's finally happening for him. And I'm so happy to see it happening. I think he's starting to get a lot of positive attention from Giants fans, as he deserves. And this is a guy that I think very real opportunity to see him up in Richmond in the near term future. So he's having a great year. He's up to 10 home runs. He's now tied with Wilmer Flores, Matt Chapman, and Elliot Ramos for the most home runs in the system at any level. First guy to double digits in the minor leagues. And, he's kind of an exciting prospect. If you just look at his average and you see a 240 average, you might not think he's having a great year, but you see the, 390 on base percentage and the 860 OPS, and he's got, he's like 40% better than the league average at that level with the more walks and strikeouts. So very well-rounded player. Glove has been way better than expected. Great arm and right. Probably never going to be more than like an average to maybe slightly above average defender at best. Because his foot speed is going to probably limit the ceiling on that. But from what I've seen, good routes. He hasn't made a single error, no careless mistakes. Has made plenty of sliding catches, diving catches, robbed 2 home runs, has thrown 3 runners out this season. He's been just rock solid out in right field. Now, is he ideal for right field and Oracle? That remains to be seen. You'd probably prefer him in left, but all in all, I think he's been really solid. Number 14 prospect, Bo Davidson. Last week I said he had probably his worst week in pro ball, and this week he just went back to raking. He went 8 for 21, 3 triple, a double, 7 walks, 4 strikeouts, and a stolen base. To me, there's probably not 5 prospects in the whole system with more potential than him. I've said it countless times. I think he's a top 100 prospect. We'll see if the big publishers agree with that and get him on their list by the end of this season. I think, this offseason, that's going to be the window where they move him if he just continues doing what he's doing. I don't know what he has to do to get noticed by those publishers, but he's been spectacular. Number 18 prospect, Josh Bostic, might have had the best week in the entire system. He made 2 starts in high A, 5 innings pitched. This first start, 5 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. He did give up 3 runs. They were unearned. 1 hit, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts through 75 pitches, 43 for strikes. His second start, he goes 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, 2 hits, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, 82 pitches, 57 for strikes. You put that together, that's 11 innings of no earned run ball, only giving up 3 hits and 4 walks and having 19 strikeouts in those 11 innings. He was dominant against Tri-Cities. I think Tri-Cities is ready for him to get out of town because they couldn't touch him. It was really nasty. His fastball was explosive. He was actually getting his curveball in there, buckling a few guys, and getting some pretty ugly swings on it. So nice to see out of Josh Bostic. His ERA is down like a run and a half after this week. He's down in the mid threes or mid to upper threes. He's an explosive arm. He's lots of potential. Had an up and down year in San Jose last season. He was, very much a roller coaster. He would have these dominant outings followed by really, rough outings where he couldn't find his command. He's definitely an upside arm. We'll see if he ends up scratching the surface on that. But so far, so good this week. Number 23 prospect, Jonah Cox. He went 6 for 27, a double, 7 strikeouts, 4 stolen bases. Quinn McDaniel, he went 4 for 19, a triple, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts. I'm hoping, I've been saying for a while, it feels like he's close to having a big week. And he keeps kind of putting similar stat lines together week to week, but hopefully one of these weeks he really busts out. Charlie Zucconi, he went 4 for 17, home run, double, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts, and a stolen base. Been scuffling a bit. Nice to see him put a charge in one, though, and get a home run this week. Scott Bandura probably had his worst week of the season. He went 3 for 24, a double, 4 walks, 10 strikeouts, and did steal 2 bags. He's still got one of the better OPSs, one of the better averages in the entire Northwest League. Just had a bad week. It happens. I mean, Bo Davidson did last week. He bounced right back. So we'll see how Scott bounces back from that. Shane Rodemacher, he went 5 1/3, 3 earned runs, 4 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts, 82 pitches, 55 for strikes. Not the most overpowering stuff. I still love that he's a strike thrower, though. He limits the walks, game in and game out, which is really nice to see from him. Zane Zielinski, he went 4 for 23, a double, a walk, 10 strikeouts, and 2 stolen bases. Lots of speed there. He is a guy that skipped San Jose entirely. Didn't play last season, and they put him right up into high A. So a bit of a learning curve there. Moving over to Richmond, double A Richmond Flying Squirrels. They went 2 and 4 versus Harrisburg. They are now 15 and 36 on the season. So maybe they'll get some reinforcements in June with guys like, James Tibbs III and Bo Davidson. But right now it is a tough watch. Offensively, there is not a lot to get excited about on that team. They do have some nice pitching, both in the rotation and in the pen that we're going to talk about here. But not a lot to get excited about on the offensive side, outside of one man, which is number 1 prospect, Bryce Eldridge, who went 5 for 25 with 2 home runs, a double, 4 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Did see some great at-bats. Now, the numbers aren't going to show this because he did go only 5 for 25. I saw at least 2 or 3 hits that really got robbed from him. Had a really nice at-bat against a lefty where he just scorched a line drive the opposite way, and he hit it directly at the third baseman. The other 3 guys were playing either up the middle, over on the right. They were playing him to pull, and he shot it to the opposite field, a hard line drive, and it just went right at the third baseman, who just was playing perfectly. And a couple other like that where he hit some balls hard. Obviously, the strikeouts are a bit higher than we want, but it's like I mentioned with Jacob Christian. He's a bigger guy. They're going to happen. He's got a big zone to cover. He's going to strike out. If you look at him at every level, though, he's pretty much kept his strikeout rate between 24 and 26% when the dust settles at the end of the year. And if he can continue that, we are going to have 0 issues because he hits bombs. And the ball he hit to center field in this series off a lefty, I swear that ball looked like it was still going up as it was leaving the yard. I mean, that thing was a seed. He has some of the most impressive power I've seen in the system as far as game power goes. Doesn't necessarily put up like 120 mile an hour exit velocities, but he just casually puts up 105 to 112 with regularity. It's pretty impressive to watch him play. I mean, when he when he barrels a ball, it just always looks like it's a just absolute BB. So, nice to see him continue to rack up the power numbers, especially in an incredibly difficult Eastern League. Number 10 prospect, Joe Whitman, 7 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 4 hits, a walk, 5 strikeouts, 83 pitches, 51 of them for strikes. He got highlighted by Baseball America as one of the best performers in the month of May. And he really seemed to kind of piece it together. I think he had one kind of rough outing, and he still put together like a sub-2 ERA on the month. Really impressive. I said it last year. He has one of my favorite pitch mixes of our lefties. I still feel that way. Command leaves something to be desired at times. Hopefully he can harness that, but he seems to be turning a corner a little bit. Let's see if he can sustain it for, a longer period of time. Number 13 prospect, Diego Velasquez, 4 for 15, 6 walks, 2 strikeouts, and a stolen base. Diego just hits. It's kind of his thing. Gets on base, rock solid defensively at second. He's a guy that I could see, the OPS doesn't jump out. The average doesn't jump out, but it is a very tough league to hit in. I could see getting promoted in the next month or two. Number 16 prospect, Sabine Ceballos. He went 1 for 16, a double, 3 strikeouts. Or sorry, not double, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. Last week felt like he was turning the corner finally. He had that really horrible month. And last week, what goes 5 for 16, thought he was kind of turning the corner, get going a little bit. And then this week, lots of struggles again. So he's having a hard time figuring it out in Double-A right now. Still some nice potential in that bat, but lots of struggles. Number 26 prospect, Trent Harris. I broadcast or jinxed him last week. I made the comments about no earned runs in his 10 outings, and he gave up a 3 spot, so it happens, but bounced back this week. Pitched in 2 games, 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, a walk, and 7 strikeouts. So back to dominating. It's what Trent Harris does. He's my favorite relief prospect in the system. Now that Randy Rodriguez is entrenched in San Francisco, Trent Harris is comfortably my favorite relief prospect in the system. Number 27 prospect, Averson Arteaga, 5 for 22, a double, 4 strikeouts. Similar to Maui Ahuna, glove first guy, some pop, questionable hit tool. Lots of potential with the glove though at short. Will definitely stick at short, but it's going to need to hit at some point. Number 28 prospect, Jack Choate. He went 4 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 85 pitches, 50 of them for strikes. Jairo Pomares, I'm gonna take the risk like I did with Ceballos last week. Feels like maybe he's turning the corner again, getting back to what he kind of was doing before. He went into a huge month-long slump. 5 for 16, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. The power hasn't shown back up. Seems like he's shortening up a little bit, just trying to get himself going again. See some hits fall, and hopefully he can, start showing the power again soon. Adrian Sagasti, he went 0 for 10 with a strikeout. Moving over to AAA Sacramento, they went 2-4 versus El Paso. They are now 27-30 on the season. Number 2 prospect, Marco Luciano. He went 1 for 13 with 6 strikeouts. Did miss a couple games. The big news with him is they handed him a first baseman. Jake Lamb is no longer in Sacramento. Marco Luciano is probably going to get the bulk of the reps at first base going forward. So interesting. We'll see how that goes. It's something we certainly advocated for last year, that or a move to the outfield. They obviously went with the outfield. I don't know if he's going to split time between the spots or if he's going to get the majority at first base, but the fact that they moved off Jake Lamb kind of suggests that maybe they view that as a potential pathway for him to get some reps. Number 3 prospect, Carson Wisenhunt, 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 6 hits, a walk, 4 strikeouts, 84 pitches, 60 of them for strikes. Obviously wasn't terribly efficient. Got hit around a little bit, but still 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs is not a bad outing at all. Number 7 prospect, Grant McCray, 4 for 26, a home run, a double, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, and a stolen base. Continues to struggle with the strikeouts. Not an impressive OPS going right now in a very hitter-friendly Pacific Coast League. Hopefully he can get going. He's got incredible upside with the speed, the power, and everything. Got to get it in play, though. Number 8 prospect, Trevor McDonald. He had a great outing, 6 innings pitched, an earned run, 4 hits, a walk, 9 strikeouts through 89 pitches, 56 of them for strikes. Had some really goofy looking swings off his slider. His fastball slider combinations really, really good. Definitely, I think, has potential. I still think his future would end up in the pen, although I feel a little better about him as a starter this season. Feels like he's adjusted his throwing motion slightly to where I don't feel like it's quite as short armed, and almost he kind of had like this short arm close to his body, a lot of torque on the elbow. I had a lot of concerns with how that would last. He feels like he's you're getting a little more width on that, a little more natural throwing motion now. So I feel confident in him going higher pitch counts and not just getting injured super quickly. But I'm not sure the pathway in the Giants system as a starter. He could be a trade candidate, or he could end up in the Giants bullpen, where I think he'd be really good. Number 9 prospect, Mason Black, 6 innings pitched, an earned run, 4 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 88 pitches, 56 of them for strikes. A nice bounce back outing for him. He's not having a great year. He's got like a low 4 ERA at the moment, but lots of ups and downs. He's had some really quality starts, and then he fights his command, and he doesn't have the greatest stuff. I mean, when you're throwing lower 90s sink, you got to spot it, and it's something he struggles with, and sometimes he gets middle, or just gets it out over the plate, and guys punish that when you're only throwing 92. So good outing from him this week. He's got to continue to work on the command, though. Number 17 prospect, Carson Ragsdale, did return. He had an injury where he didn't go on the injured list, but he didn't pitch at all last week or the week prior. He went 2 1/3 innings pitched, an earned run, 3 hits, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. Number 19 prospect, Wade Meckler, is back with Sacramento. They actually, I think it was Joe Rizzo, announced what the injury was. He was out for a couple months. Sounds like he tore his quad. So I do remember him stealing second base, getting up. You could see him yelling some profanity. He was pretty upset, limping off the field, and turns out it was a torn quad. So I get the reaction. It's unfortunate for him. He went 3 for 14, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts. Meckler, we've given him some grief, especially for the defense. I don't believe in him as a major league outfielder unless he makes massive improvements. He's pretty limited with his power potential. I think his best fit, honestly, is second base. They toyed with that, then they took him off it, so maybe it didn't look as good in spring training. But I look at what's on the Giants roster right now. I see guys like Lamont Wade hitting $160, and he's been pretty rough for almost a full season of regular season play. And I look at that, and Lamont, I see a guy like Wade Meckler, and I'm like, if we want just a left-handed bat on the team, if we're going to move off of Lamont Wade Jr. as a starter, because frankly they need to, I would not hate Wade Meckler on the Giants bench. I think he could be a great fit on the bench. He gives quality at bats. He can hit. He's got plus speed. He'll swipe you bags. I just think he'd be a really valuable bench commodity. That said, very limited defensively, and that's the part that terrifies me. Number 24 prospect, Carson Seymour, 4 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, 6 hits, a walk, 3 strikeouts, 93 pitches, 60 for strikes. We've seen his production really kind of crash down to earth the last 3 or 4 weeks. Gerard Encarnacion, 5 for 16, 2 home runs, a double, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Obviously, he's back in San Francisco as of yesterday, but those are the numbers he put up in Sacramento last week. Nice to see him put a couple charges into balls. Nice to see him pull one over the fence. A lot of his power has been to kind of center field, right field, or right center, using the opposite way. And he is going to need to pull some, especially in Oracle Park, if he's going to really utilize his power. Hunter Bishop, 1 for 6, 5 strikeouts. And Oslevis Basabi, he went 3 for 16 with a strikeout. Last but not least, we're going to talk the Complex League, where number 11 prospect Rainer Arias, he went 3 for 15, a double, and 5 strikeouts. Number 12 prospect, Johnny Level, 4 for 17, a home run, a double, 5 walks. Nice to see him. He's now hit a couple home runs. He's got some stolen bases on the year. Lots of doubles already early on. He's only hitting about 260, 250 to 260 at the moment, but got about mid eights, 850, 860 OPS. Younger, Johnny Level's only 18. I think he's actually a really intriguing shortstop prospect. I love the power speed combo. A lot of people think he'll stick at shortstop. He got Rafael Furcal comps when they, signed him on the international, not last year, but the year prior's international signing class. Really looking forward to hopefully seeing him in San Jose. It might not be this year, it might be next year, but he's definitely a guy that I have circled for when he reaches San Jose. Number 21 prospect, Oliver Tejada, finally got going in the complex league. 7 for 21, 4 doubles, and 2 walks. And then Argenis Kayama, the number 30 prospect, 5 innings pitched, an earned run, 4 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts, 59 pitches, 43 for strikes. He has continued to just dominate the complex. Like, I think he's only 18 years old, but he's given up 1 earned run in, I think, 5 starts now in the complex league, 4 or 5 starts. At some point, if he does this for another 2 or 3 starts, like, they're going to have to bring him up to San Jose. And then friend of the show, Jeremiah Jenkins, 2 for 10, home run, 4 walks, and 2 strikeouts. First home run of 2025. Hopefully we will see him in San Jose soon. He is rehabbing in the complex league yesterday. It not reflected in those stats, but yesterday he did go 2 for 2 with a home run, 3 RBIs, and 2 walks. So I love Jeremiah. He was one of our favorite interviews. He was so funny. Such a great guy. If you haven't seen it already, definitely go back in the history, check that one out. But that is all I have for this week. Live show is going to be Thursday night. Like I said, we're gonna try and do another giveaway at 1750 subscribers. So smash that subscribe button if you guys want us to do that, sooner than later. So appreciate all you guys. Go Giants, and we'll catch you next time.